What are you doing? You're punching up here. We're bending up at that? No. Punch my nose. I missed it. What I'm trying to do is too slow. Just come through here. And I'm missing my target. Okay. Anyways, I'm better at this. Either going this way, taking the guy around. That's simple. Or taking him down. Okay. I don't practice a lot with this stuff. You know, this way. When I do, I can get my timing on. That's just something to see. Stacy, okay, great. See this? And this is going to hurt a lot worse, okay, than what you're doing. 1, 2. Drive that in. Kick. Where's going? What we got? 1, 2. Okay. 4. What I did there was just control it. You can actually, I don't really want to try this too fast because I got somebody I really trust to land it too. Come again, which is fun. Come right in like that. There it is. Nice and gentle, stay even up there. 1, 2, 3, and it's not really hurting. I get my distance, get my practice. Okay, that's enough of this. So that helps because I see a lot of guys in manipulations. Okay. You guys done any side work at all? Everybody know any side work? Let's see this. Did everybody do the same one? Yes. Alright, let's see. I just want to watch and see what you do. I'm not going to... I just want to get an idea of how you walk. Everybody, get it. Just everybody do it. First off, the manipulation. Okay, hold them here, and as you move, you know, when you punch, don't let the side wobble. It must get firm against your arm. Got that? And you don't want it till contact. Okay, so keep, you know, pull that firm against your forearm. Don't let that wobble out here. Punch like this. See? I'm going to hit him, right? If he stands like this and I hit him like this, is that really going to do anything? What if I hit him like this? The difference in the lines is 1, 2. Don't move him on the wire. Okay, finger go up. The other thing is, as you go out, grip the side. Relax. 1, 2. But this problem has to be back here. See? Well, pretend I have a sword. You ready? Block it. You're going to block the sword. What comes now? You're going to block it this way. You strike with my hand. Okay, so I'm a sword, you block it. Now let me get his sword over there, and you stick your thumb there, and cut right down through the middle. So the thumb has to be behind this sword, this part of the side. See that? Okay, so as you do that, grip the side, your thumb is below here. So you throw your thumb time. It has to be there. That's one thing you do while manipulation. The other thing is, you have to determine whether this technique, 1, 2, punch, is this a block or strike? Find out. Strike. Stay up there by yourself. Is that a block or strike? It's strike. No. What's he doing? What's he doing? There's he doing. Everybody, if I may block with my arm better. If I'm striking, what do? I take advantage of the extended arm. Same way as an upside. Take advantage of the range. You got that? So on this technique here, he comes down from my head. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Not here. On this here, 1. This could be a block. It could be a strike. If it's a strike, as the Mickey's Kata, your arm must be extended. Some people interpret that as a block. You hit the hand of the thing out. And when you pull your hand back, you don't pull it. Some styles do pull this way. Now I had somebody tell me, you don't pull this way, or put it this way. Because the company's going to come up and they're going to kick it, and they're going to drive the coin into you. I started thinking about that, and I started seeing a bare feet. You know, I'm not so sure that's the right reason, but I have seen guys who decided to push things back and jam the phone. Some people who work side pull their hands back this way. You will find a few that pull their hands this way. Alright? Now, let's get this way so they can get this thing out. So from here, I'm gonna call this an adjustment, alright? Because I'm gonna bring you more in sync with for no other reason than just to try to bring everybody more in sync with each other on the practice, okay? You know, somebody talked about changing techniques. I know it's been a topic of discussion here. You're not really, we say you're not learning anything new, you're just enhancing your practice. Right? What's a garbage collector? Sanitary engineer, right? Okay, you get the idea. It's all on your point of view and your outlook. So if you can make a big problem doing something really different than you did before, but it really doesn't make a lot of difference. Because chances are, in a lot of gymnasiums, especially your main gyms, what they're using as teaching techniques in 1972 are not the ones we use in 74, not the ones we use in 78, or the ones we use in 82, or the ones we use today. Because we progress. The progressive gym changes. There's certain things you don't violate, but the way you teach it or you're attacked. So learning a principle of martial arts can change. The important point is that you grow in your practice. So if all the times you did the extended roundhouse kick, and now you switch from a roundhouse kick this way. Well, heck, if you roundhouse kick this way and you extended kick, you can adjust your range in between, right? If you only roundhouse one way, what do you do on a short range technique? So you look at the whole spectrum of it, and that's what we're doing. So on this thing here, I'm going to bring you a little closer to the way I practice it, because I'm the one that started in the Anderson Gymnasium, basically when I got started all the side work anyways. So, let's start. We start out same way you used to. And from here, I bring my hand, start with the side of my hand. Okay, like this. You bounce it once. Put your hands out like this. Then 3. 4. And I'm not going like this, I'm just going inside here. See, this is the way that Bob Trees does it. Robert Trees. Okay, they do a lot of this type of blocking. Mickey does a little bit too. In the Sakagami, who's really the main one, Demra learned, okay, the Katas do. They pull this way. Okay, and the Kata that I do it is pretty much the way Sakagami does it. Okay, so this is 1. You step back, and you block. So you run like this. Now watch. Okay, I'm controlling, but I want you to start your block. Right? Drop that. Start it again. You got a big hole there, don't you? Huh? Right? Take this. But I'll say if he's right or wrong. He may have a different reason for doing what he does. But I'll teach you the way I do this side. And that's what I'm doing, okay? So I'm like this, and you attack. Much better in control of the situation. Watch my side. They're coming up like this. See? 1, 2. Okay, so he strikes. Arms blocked out, strike right up. I go out, I meet the weapon. Are you meeting the weapon with the way you're doing it? No, right? Now I'll tell you something else about meeting a weapon. I knew I should have brought the sword in. Can't use that, it'll cut the wood.
You want the wood?
Yeah, one quickly handy?
No, I think it's here.
Okay. Well, stay here. We don't need that. We can use the side. You're going to come in and just like this, punch me on the head. Now, I'm not going to block the first one or two. So come in and strike. One. Make it up. Like that. Like one. See it? Now watch again. Watch it. Two. Now, if he strikes. Where did I touch it? Before it has any real force or effort behind the technique. Bam! That's it. You see? So I try to catch the weapon. Here, one. Okay, and if that was a sword, I take it here, two. You see? Three. It's like trying to get a kick. You know, a lot of times the guy says he's going to kick, he jumps back. Well, sometimes if you're going to get kicked and you want to hit the guy, you jump into the kick. You take the kick before you can focus it, just run a little bit and nail it. And that's what we're talking about here, the technique. So, when you manipulate the size, now I don't care if you really bring it up this way. I prefer you not to, okay? Because of the explanation I gave. You can, in my opinion, just have to reject. But as you move back, the point of the matter is, you're coming out to meet the weapon, you must focus into the attack. Okay, that's how you get there is, okay, you get the result. You get the idea? What's the result of your technique? So let's try that. Bow. Well, we start this way to be technical. Bow. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, from here, I'm already relaxed. They roll out, and I grip. And as I grip, 2. Then, in the kata, it's around. 3. But it's got to be a. Can you do that? Snap it in. Make it around. More of a. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You can see it? Yeah, that's better. To be honest with you, watching you do the kata, what would be a good word to describe how you did the kata? You guys have good vocabularies? How about insipid? What's insipid connote? Huh? Poor. Well, poor, but poor in what kind of way? Insipid, warm coffee, you know? Yeah, not haphazard, more of a kind of slow, drawing, yucky type thing. See, you're not getting any real oomph into it, no real expression or anything. So you hear 1, 2. See? Let's try it. Ready? Right from here. 1, 2. Okay, then. Look. And walk. Okay, you got that? Now let's try it again. Well, another thing I think I better mention. As I do this, 1, watch my left leg. See it drive? Anybody here practice cross-side eye? That's one. Okay, when you get the cross-side eye, that's going to be one of the lessons that's going to teach you. Which is the driving leg? Which is the leg that thrusts the body into this, thrust the hips forward. Okay, let's do it again. Get some concentration on it. Making that very strong action when you're going the wrong way. 1, 2. But I didn't see this thing convulse. Did it? It's got to convulse from here. Here I am. There's no weight here, is there? So I want to go forward strongly. That's how I do it. Can you do this? Watch. From here. Can you go like this? Can you do that? Bend your knee. Bend down. Cast down. Pick your foot up. Good. There you go. Yeah, that's the type of hip movement try to come into this thing, but then it'll make it look, you know, Tin Soldier, make it look natural. So now you're going. The whole body has to go together. You understand what I mean? You can't just pop this out and pop it down. All right, so let's try it again. From here. Remember? Okay. Then, up. Okay, now, look to your left, step back. Now watch. I got a different leg doing the thrusting, don't I? Instead of pushing me to a front stance, pushing me back. So here I am, like this. And as I turn, my weight goes down. But see that movement? See the crack? This is basic Kata, really. Step off. 1. Okay. Now, here. 2, right in there. 1, 2 is a common thing in weapon attack. They'll attack 1, 2 this way, right? So you have that kind of blocking, 1, 2. Then front. Then actually, this thing comes back here. Right here, like this. Grip. Strike out. I'm walking here. Maybe walking here, I don't care. That to me is no major difference. You can do it either way. So you gotta use your right hand. That I'm complaining about. Okay, then. Back. 1, 2. Back. 1. Calm down. Then. 1, 2. Watch. Mickey goes 1, 2, right? 1, 2. I'm doing a slightly different action. Now, you can practice both. So you have one where you're going 1, 2. The other, this is not a different Kata, this is a different interpretation. They'll practice the Kata, they'll go 1, 2. Try it. Go 1, drop the point, circle back. No, drop it this way. Not this way, go this way. Go this way. 1, 2. Got that? Did you get that with the sword? No, you don't have a blocker. Oh, okay. Well, he's flush. That's okay. That's okay. He comes in, use it, come down this way. Okay, so he comes in. 1. All right, now pull it back. This time strike for the top of my head. Okay, ready? This one. 1, 2. Do the block. 3. Now that's not the same interpretation as 1, 2, is it? It can't be. It's a different way. Defense against the sword. So as you're coming here, you're this way. He strikes. 1. And you hit the sword, we'll strike that and slide. 2. See? 3, 4. You got the idea. Now that's the way I was taught in doing this Kata. I think actually it looks a prettier way. I also think it makes you use that wrist, because that's what comes down and has to focus. This wrist has to get strong. Signs are good weapons to use to build up the strength of the wrist for your training. Okay, like using an iron gator, so to speak. So ready, 1, 2. Punch, strike. 1, strike. Now watch. As this comes back, what's my body do? See it? You guys are going 1, 2, and then step. I'm going 1, 2. You do that, put it out. As it comes back, step and punch. Alright, then 1, and watch. 2, shove this forward. Low defend, double punch. Turn, low defend, high defend. Now again, this is a basic Kata. It doesn't do any real complicated actions, it just keeps repeating itself. Go. See, 1, 2. See, 1, and don't bring it from down here. See, hit 1, bring it from over here. 1, 2. See, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Nothing wasted, nothing withheld. Can't waste anything, you can't withhold it. You have both wasted movement, and the second time you held back your movement. Yeah. Think about it. You'll take you a while to figure out what I mean. Got that? So then from here, look. 1, 2. Low defend, double punch. And then turn. 1, 1, 2. Then 1. Remember this way, cross. 2. See, this actually comes from here. See, if I'm like this, 1, throwing it out 2. This will be more of a block. Yeah, it's going to strike in this, using the side this way. 1, 2. Then 1. What is it? 2, 3, 4. Punch. Okay? Now, I've taught the Kata a little differently than the Maneuver Mixture, but I've also explained more or less my interpretation behind it. See, so although the Kata is very similar, have we done it one stance different? I don't think so. But the interpretation should maybe a little at the beginning.
Well, we don't have either space the eyes or power.
We haven't done it yet. Back. We'll do that in a second. Well, I just want to go to that point just to show the point that, okay, but yet I've taken the same thing, I've stylized it different. But have I really, what I've done though is I've taught you a different way than the way the signs. Now you have two things to practice. Instead of just going 1, 2, you got 1, 2. And there's a different interpretation of each movement. And that's the thing. Did I ask you this question? Stand like this, okay, and look and hide a fence. Do that. Look one way, look out, hide a fence. Okay, now stand like this. Stand like this. Hide a fence, then look. Your hand move differently. Try it. Look, then do it, and then good. What tends to happen is when you look, say your shoulders come and your height of head comes this way. And if you walk here, and then step, the height of head comes up like this. So a lot of people say you gotta do the height of head this way. Some people no, you do it from here. Some people say you go like this. And all of a sudden, you get different instructor, different black. Oh, these ones are doing a little different. It doesn't really make any difference, right? What's the height of head? Anything to defend something up high, right? So what's the height of head teach? Now mind you that, and from your own practice, try that again. I think you'll find that if you do that, or if you go like this, you'll do the technique. Try it one more time. Feel a difference? Your hand go up differently? I think it does. A lot of you guys aren't doing two different things. You're going to say they go over time.
I think the movement tends to be shorter if you don't look first.
Yeah, it goes like this, which is why most people are taught to hide a fence. You don't really get the circular action of it. See, if you learn this, and if you, as you move, the movement will become more this way, naturally. But it's a circumstance which creates the movement. So what's the reason for learning high defend, low defend, middle defend, and outside inside defend? What's the reason for it?
Take our orders and go.
No. Teach your shoulders how to move. Teach your arm how to move. There's your 1, 2, right? That's pretty much all the movement in your body, right? And there's all my blocks. I just went through all 3 or 4 blocks. Just been doing that. Try. High defend, right? Very in the middle. Low defend, outside. Well, see? So for karate, what do? We train our bodies, we train ourselves, we apply karate, we apply us. Somebody hits you, it's out by a Lakeland Community College student, or by a Lakeland Community College karate club, or by your karate. No, you hit them with yourself, whatever that happens to be. You don't know karate masters full time, so you can't see your karate, right? You're either a secretary or whatever laborer. Anderson used to say, I never sat in a karate man, I sat in an karate group, because that's what he is, by vocation. So, that's really what you're doing. You're learning how to move your body, how to apply yourself, okay, correctly. And how obviously try to take those lessons into your everyday life. All right, let's go back to this last one. 1, just 1, 2, 3. And mind you, every time you do that, shuffle. 1, as the sword comes in, right, you move into it this way. You can't go 1, 2 because it's not what's going to happen. If he's starting for top of your head, you're going to move inside and hit. You'll find many people will bend their arm to the side this way. That's a mistake. It has to be straight up.
Almost like a figure 8 movement.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. As you do it. One, two. Now. Okay, got that? Now, from this point here, we did low defense, double punch, right? Like this, you do that first, right? I think we're pretty similar now. He holds his sides in and blocks this way more, and you pick that up. I tend to be a little more outgoing with my technique. And you'll find George Ashton too. See, we feel if you have only one technique, why do you make it small? You make it big. Dancing doesn't do small, do it? Really, the small, tight techniques you find go just stuff. So, 1, 2, pull, 3, 4. Now, if you said you're hitting the eyes, right? Yeah. Now maybe the narrow one like that. Huh? Yeah. You get that in? Same thing. What was it doing? Guys can't hit the eyes like this, but here. Closer in. Not necessarily sure that's actually straight. I think that's the way that it's going to move like that. So 1, then 2. Now watch. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how? See what I did? I'm here. I hit what? Without getting from the attack. And then in. Slightly different than that. Here, 1, 2. And the side. This way. So of course the side. Okay. You got that? You remember that? Alright, then step, low defense, high defense. So you always go high, so we do it every point in Kata. You ever do the really good low defense high? Go to your right, step out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yeah. Low defense. Punch, punch. Same thing Ricky does, except instead of doing this, I'm going like that.
Yeah, so we have an following the actual pattern of the moves between yours and Suki's.
But I haven't changed my foot pattern. I really haven't, have I?
I don't know.
No, I haven't. If you do it better, you would see we're exactly the same place. Then we go this way. And I go from here. Watch me do it. I go 1, 2, 3. Now you're probably used to just going 1, 2, 3, right? So, okay, well from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he may not pull up the cat dance that way, okay? That's so far the only difference. Right after that, you go this direction, you load the pin. I put a high defense in. Then he went to the right. That's exactly what he did. And he goes this way. So we haven't changed that. The only thing we've done is a little different manipulation practice.
Well, see, I know if you do the high strike, he does actually, I guess, low. Or we were doing low and then low.
But it's no big difference. It's not to me. I don't care which way you do it. I'm going to introduce you this way. I do think you should, even if you don't do it in Kata, you should practice this extra manipulation. So then I go 1, say 2, 3. Now I say 3 says 4, but I do the same thing when you type it for 1, right? 1, 2, 3. Correct? Okay, well, let's do that. We just went to our. We just right here. You guys are right here. Double punch. Okay, step out. Sides cross this way, like this. Then 1. Cross the side. 2, 3. Low defend. Double punch. Same thing, right? Then we do this all over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it? 7. Then step, low defense. Now, 1, 2. Step in. 1, 2. He crosses this. He crosses the next block with this. See what it is. Okay, I learned the next block right here. Not much different, really. Just a different application of the movement. Here. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Step in, strike. Pull up. I learned this one. 1, 2, 3. Then 4, 5, 6. Punch, punch. Low defense. Punch, punch, punch. And the last one I learned when to keep it up. I don't really remember Mickey's ending sentence. 1, like this. 1, 2. Then pull. 1, pull. Into here. 2. This way. 3. Low defend. Outside corner defend. Right foot to left foot. And up. 1, 2. Bow. Bow. That's it. Now he does a little different thing. Josh, I don't remember that. Okay, because I've done it this way so often. I can remember the beginning part, but he did do that other. And he was going this way. 1, 2. And it's not much different than this, only just a different approach to basically a similar interpretation. Okay, because you can feel block 1, 2. I mean, you could read that into the movement.
Okay, those were blocks. We interpreted those as strikes.
All right, this. But before you did that, there was a block. And then strike. Do it the way he does it. It's okay. Interpretation is very similar, but it's interesting. Yeah. Now what's the next one? Now what? See, you're going the wrong way. But this pulling back here is the block. That's the block. It is interpretation. That's a strike. What? You come in and you're stabbing at me from my, you're stabbing from my belly. See? 1, 2. Get the idea? That's the block.
Okay, that's the block.
Yeah. That's a strike.
This is a strike.
Well, that's not, there would be a block. If I'm carrying a sword here, I would interpret that as a strike, as an extra strike. That makes sense. I mean, you're not going to just carry the guy in and go right there. Okay. Sometimes, you know, like you're not, on the floor, you do this. You kick, and you strike from here, don't you? What is this?
Okay.
Over here or something? Over here. What's the target? Well, okay, you're saying bridge of the nose, right? Is that the nose? Huh? Well,
The kick to the cover of the motion.
Okay. You're here, I double you over. I'm going to hit you in the nose. So you're saying no? No. Okay, well, get down. I double you over. I'm going to back this thing on the back of the neck. Everybody agree that anything is an elbow strike, right? That has to be an elbow strike. You're out over. What is it? The classical interpretation is a strike to the bridge of the nose. Then why the heck do they do it here? Why don't they do it here? Huh? Well, yeah, that's the reason. It's going to be more specific. Kata is expansion and contraction of the body, right? 1, 2, contract. The maximum contraction is here. It is not here. This is the maximum contraction. There's a physical response to trying to elicit from that movement. So you need to know what the Kata is trying to elicit or show. In that particular instance, maximum contraction of the body. That's the reason why the Kata doesn't go along with the interpretation. Follow that? But it's the interpretation of the Kata. So you run into similar things when you do form. So the same Kata, and we really follow, those of you that, I think some of you might see it, we really follow the Mickey's pattern very closely. But we dealt with a slightly different interpretation. We shifted the Kata. So what happens if for 5 years you study Kata this way, next day the master insists it's all wrong, do it this way? What do? You get the same instructor for 5 years until you do it wrong. Does that make sense to you? Sure, George Anderson does it all the time. But why did he do that? Because maybe he decided that, okay, everybody's just doing it that way. They really understand the importance of us to shift the Kata, because we're going to shift the practice and shift their emphasis. So you then might shift to your interpretation. If you're always practicing, just put your side down. Okay, if I'm teaching, if I'm getting ready to do a police study, or if I'm just teaching and going somewhere, I don't really want to get into farming kind of techniques, okay? How the guy punch. Well, do those 10 points. Okay? Now, if I'm teaching this farming kind classes, angular, immediately. You understand? We developed some really trained now and push the angular technique. What I did there is the first one says sparring. This first thing is tight defend reverse punch. Narrows the gym for 10 years. First one says sparring was ever taught. Okay? Then all of a sudden he says, I can get the same thing, teach the hips being changed, the angular technique if I just make the guy do this. All of a sudden, I've got the guy moving on the angle, stepping right in, real nice and easily. He's doing this well. For once, we got a reason for practicing this. Nobody says they use this in a free fight anyway, so why learn it? Bam! My hips come right in. Now that's the first one of these taught. But you see how actually that does enhance what you're doing, doesn't it? Now, if I'm going to be teaching a police seminar, I start practicing this way. 1, okay, 2, 3. That's basically the same thing, but I did something a little different, right? Or, I have to punch. I'll go one this way, so you don't step like this. Now, I'm not really doing that much of a difference once as far am I. I still went high defend, I still did this, but one, instead of doing that, I just took the wrist this way. So, something like that. So police like the arm bars, punch. 1, 2. Now that takes that. Can't go over, can you? Nothing fancy, nothing special. So I start to shift. Okay. Watch my feet. See my feet? Grab me here. Did I do anything different with my foot pattern? No. Watch these clothing. Grab. I went on the punch. 1, 2, right? On this one, I went 1, step behind. Step again, didn't I? So then when I start practicing my kata, okay, I've got this movement here. He steps in and he punches. 1, punch. 2, 3. Pretty much standard interpretation for that movement. So, punch. 1. Some people punch the other hand. Some people say it's got to be this hand 1, punch with that hand. Okay, 2. Say, this is the block. And 3. Or you get, right left, right up, and you also see this. 1, punch. Now you're punch me. Okay, ready? Do it again. See, that's not punching me. Let's start with the hand first. 1, 2. See? All of a sudden, I'm barring. Punch it again. 1, 2. There it is. That's a different action, isn't it? Now I can control from there. Or 3, and then hit. So then, I might concentrate my practice on interpretation to the teeth that refresh my mind and get me into my going on here, which I can do more times. I need sharpened up. Now, see, this can be going on a high level in the gym, but it doesn't filter down the reasoning to you guys. When you come in, you roll the minus, you accept pretty much down the road, and sometimes you see inconsistencies. Alright? So sit down a second. What happens if the black belt comes into the gym, and he's there for 3 months, he's gone for 3 months, comes back for 3 months, and then goes again? What happens? He doesn't see the gym consistently move and progress. And see the progression from where you're at here to where you are today. This is a progressive thing in the gymnasium. He's different in Anderson's gym directly because he gets a lot of black belts. Okay? When I line up, I'm not even senior black belts sometimes. Okay? In that gym. So, see, as we're doing that we've taken our practice for 15 years or more, and expanded it, and then bring the students along with it. So what happened was, this poor first key Blackfoot was there one time where Phil Keppel came out for clinic, and he was into this. 1, 2, that type of punching and pulling the hips under that. So we studied it for 6 months. It's good. Really spent time concentrating on it. And this kid came down, and he saw us do that. I hadn't seen him for 2 years. He comes back. He goes like this. I said, who taught you to do that? You know? And he looks at me and says, you did. I don't remember teaching him doing that. But you see, it was just one thing that we went into at a time. That we then took the action, learned the pulling of the hips under, and then went back to what we do, and we found that we could work this muscle and get the hips driving here. So it became an adjunct to our training, totally different technique, really from outside our style, but we borrowed from it. So we experimented with it. So sometimes, you know, the guys aren't here all the time, don't know the difference between what is for the training and what is what is the essential technique. Kumite house of the realization. What is the essential realization? The setting point. That's what we're trying to find out. That's what we're working towards. Taking all of the extra, the cultural idea, the body structure out, looking for the pure technique, and then trying to develop that. Okay, and then trying to find a way to elicit it from the students. And we found again, when we start teaching these one-step sparring to begin, that we elicit very good hip motion. If you don't believe me, okay, come next December, you can come down for the testing when we test the credit course at the University of Akron. You can be the guy all the girls get punched. I've gone through that routine, and believe me, some of those girls hit. And when you watch them move, their hips go, and your body's in, elbows behind, maybe out a little bit, but they're like this. And you get that kind of action into there, and you know you can hit. That's why we were, 15 hours of training. But what it did was, it produced something that the way we learned, okay, and I'm sure the way you guys learned is very similar to the way I learned, that we spent years trying to get, all of a sudden, we thought of a little easier way to get it. Then you see some of these kids playing that way, and you see them moving fast, quick, and hips, and you just shudder. It says, in this case, it's vertigo, really bad. And you just see, the karate technique come out in that. And that's what we go. So we haven't taken anything as we take the important point. The root principles of the technique is given. Those can't change. But we looked at different ways to get there. You can go this way, this way, this way. What's the most direct route to produce results? Now, we're not Orientals. We can't take 3 hours a day and train for the first 2 months, do this and punch, right? As everybody said, all you used to do in the Orient. Well, we don't live in that kind of place, right? So why can't we look for systems that teach the way we as Americans desire to learn? That's the way we desire to learn. It's the way it fits our culture where we live. Many of you guys go full-time learning karate, you gotta eat. Okay? So a lot of times you do find some black folks doing this a little bit this way, that way. And they're trying to learn. And they're making an attempt, but sometimes they can't always train consistently. Maybe they have family problems or what have you. So, they tend to learn where the gym is at that time. As the gym such as ours, change is part of the whole thing, right? They say if the system doesn't change, it becomes stale. So we do that. The point is it being changed correctly and according to proper karate principles? And that's where the master interpreter comes in. The better job he does, obviously the better job the students do. I think that's where we got a great George Anderson, because the guy is very, very skilled, very, very intelligent, and can see and really take the on the martial arts. Okay, let's get up. Let's see a side technique. I want you to count up to the last one of these. But what I want you to concentrate on this time is that you grip the side when it goes out, and the thumb's out of the way. Okay, the air's thick enough in here. I should hear some whistles. Okay, and strike, and when you block, that the side is not just left to idly wander here, but press against, so it can't slip. You got that? Okay, let's try it. Stop. 1, 2. You can do this if I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. 1, and you do this. Now, I don't mind you doing that, okay? But I go like this, all right? But I'm going to do that I want to see an expression. I want to see you mean this thing to rip the guy's shoulder out. You're not giving me that. Okay, in that movement, you've done more than the other movements with Kata, so we can't excuse that. All right, let's see it. So again, just take it from here. 2, much better. Okay, up. All right, 2 left. We'll put the lotus on high defense. Okay, punch strike. Ready? 1. Gotta punch first. 2. Step. Because you went this way and you just went like that. And that doesn't do anything. 1, 2. Yeah, keep going. See, if you just do this and twist from there, you don't have anything with the side. You've got to bounce back a little bit. 3, left hand, twist the whole thing up. Punch. You really want to punch there. I'm thinking I use an introducing your brown belt here. And that's just a force and habit that we always did in our gym. Okay? So there's your punch. You're really punching down here. So it's obviously really not a good target. Okay? See the hand? See it drop down again? Okay. Okay, turn. Punch. 2. Good. 3. Okay, that's good. Let me correct one thing. I think some of you guys are trying to follow my way now, which is fine. But let's, as I do this, 1, 2, it's punch, 1, just one of those. It's not 1, 2 every time. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. That one's that way. You got it? See the difference?
Only the third one.
Only the third one. Yeah. See? Now just stick it out long enough that, like I did in martial arts, you say I do it that way. And you get away with it. Okay. But, yeah, see, the idea behind picking out a senior student is it's hard for him. It's got to be a lot harder for the next one, even harder for that, and harder for one down the line. So the senior student stuff makes it really impossible for poor white belt that to try to get to first base. Okay? Alright, I think that's enough for these tonight. You can, I don't care which way you do the form, but I think I maybe give you a little help on so. Okay, let's get the rigor. I think it's time for rigor class anyway. Oh, book. Okay, saw some tapes on it, ran into a cheetah room practitioner that did it a little differently. A lot closer to the way I do it than the way Mickey did. He put a few extra techniques into it. And then, practiced it off and on and stepped to my side and stole in my car one day, and it took me off for about 2 years. So again, what we looked at, what I'd like to see come out of you is more correct side technique, not necessarily more correct kata. Kata pattern. I don't worry about that. We were at a seminar. I know 3 bow katas. I've learned more than that, but I just didn't bother. Okay. And, most of our students know 2. The very basic, bow show and sui show. Some of you guys know both of those, I think. And those are the only ones we do. And, guy who works with George Harrison, the 6 feet black belt USK, goes up to Harrison, which is a big mistake, especially when you're down high ranked. Harrison puts you down fast before you than anything. He says, how come your students only know 2 bow katas? He says, I know 8. Harrison came back at him, from Trias. He says, Frank, you may know 8 katas. He says, my students know how to use the bow. And that's what we're at. Learn how to use the weapon. You don't have to know 100 kata or complicated kata to use the weapon. That kata, you repeat the same thing over and over and over again. It reinforces the technique. The long pattern is not considered a complicated side kata. But reinforcement over and over. Okay, let's just do a standing bow. As a knee. Alright, everybody's somewhat loose. I will assume you are. Okay, let's just do a few exercises here to repeat some of the stuff we've done. Okay, put your hands like this. What we're going to do, raise those knees. And what we're going to do with the foot, what do we call that? Chamber, right? Keep it tucked in. Each, sun, she, go, rook, see, hachi, two, two. Okay, that's not bad. Each, knee, nine, shake, go, rotate, seat, hot, two, two. Okay, left front stance. You see, I don't like to waste time on exercises. Each, knees, go. Side, sheet, go. Keep the legs tight. Rotate, seat, hot, two, two, change. Each, knee, side, sheet, don't drop, go. Rotate, seat, hot, two, two. Okay, change. Front foot. Each, knee, side, sheet, go. Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Ku, Ju, change. Each, knee, side, sheet, go. Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Ku, Ju. Okay, now, sometimes, my knee doesn't make it, does it? Well, let's try again. That time it did, that time it didn't. How many people here have pride? Everybody does, right? So I see a lot of guys that do this, and they feel good because they hit the hand every time. But you see, my pride is different. That's where I'm going to put my knee. If I don't make it, I'll do it the next time. So I pride is I won't lower my hand. What's yours? Okay, get the idea? All right, let's try it. Left front stance. Hey! Bringing the knee up, chambering around. Each. Back leg. Knee. Side. Sheet. Go. Roku. Sichi. Touch. Ku. Ju. Turn. Each. Knee. Side. Sheet. Go. Get in line. Roku. Sichi. Knee up. Touch. Not forward to the side. Ku. Ju. Okay, let's look at it. That one you have trouble with. Front kick one, everybody gets real easily. Alright, I'm going to move fast. But on this comes right out to the side like that. And you don't want to come with the knee down, and don't bring it up like this. The body's upright, erect. And as I do it, I don't stand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I get my knee up high. But don't kick your foot up higher than your knee. That's the mistake. See, some people when they try to kick, they lift their foot high. But lift your knee high. You got that? The knee must come before the foot. Let's try that one again, right leg. Each. Knee. Side. Raise the knee. Chi. Okay, now this time, we're going to do it, and we're going to go like this. Each. And it's going to knee point straight ahead. Ready? Each. Knee. Son, raise the knee up. She. Go. Roku. Push to the front foot a little. Sichi. Hut. Good. Two. Okay. Eat. Knee. Son. She. Go. Roku. Sichi. Hut. Good. Two. Okay. Stay right here. Okay, you want to raise your foot up and hold it there? Right. That was fine. Up. Okay, get up. I'm going to get your arm up. See the foot position? Change your foot this way. You got that? All involved. Right, and then you come forward. Here, right here. That's a lot better than what you were doing. So you try to do it every time. Okay. Get the idea? Some of you guys are maybe not quite that steady with your toes, but be aware of that. See, I was told one time by a third-degree black belt that it's impossible to do that. To come up to somebody and hit them with the ball, to hit them with the ball of the foot in the face. Okay? There it is. It's one nice and easy. But that's impossible. So the only way you can do it is by using your instep. Okay? I said that's nice. If I never told him I could do it, I didn't see a sense to it. Guys, that's dumb. But why? We train, we stretch our bodies, we use it naturally to gain the height. Now mind you that, that was for it. if I'm going to kick, and he's like this, I might be able to come with a short, tight kick and get it to his head. But I don't think I do it with my right foot. I bend over, my hands jump, I always thought it was my technique. But my left foot, not too bad, right? But you see, if I do this kick, one, nice and easy. That's what I'm doing. I'm using a more natural stretch. What you guys are used to kicking with, right? So we're trying to learn both kicks, see, because if I can hit him from right here, right? I got all that distance, I want to be able to hit him from there too. So the one works more with a snapping motion of the knee and a rolling motion of the hips. Alright? The other one works like I throw like this. One, bam. See? There's no snap. That goes out clunk. That's the stick kick. My hips turn. See the action? Then my leg, when it releases, just flops in, and that's how I hit my target. That's the idea behind the two kicks. One's a snap and one isn't. Okay? Alright, lately, because of our consideration of AAU and international, not so much AAU, but trying to come up with training systems that we can sneak in on you as a team and teach you something without trying, which works better when you get that many black belts around. Everybody thinks they know something. You're trying to teach you 50 black belts, all from different styles, and of course each style is better than the other one. What makes a style good or bad? Anybody tell me? Probably the people. Makes sense?
Yeah.
People want it. So if some systems, yeah, they don't have all the techniques of those, are they inferior or not? It doesn't make any difference. If you have two masters in the system, I don't fight either one. Get the idea? I personally think some systems are limited, but again, an open mind is better than a closed mind. So a limited system is what kind of system?
One with
Closed-minded system. Okay. One, and you do it. You're done these, haven't you? You step back. Okay, and then you step forward, and step back. You're going to go like this. One, kick, two, back. One, kick. Got it? Go. Kick. Kick. You did this? You guys done this before?
Yes.
Alright, nice and easy. Alright, let's just knock out a few of those just to make sure everybody's on the same wavelength. And then we're going to take and progress this. Stand up right next to you, doesn't make any difference. Go down with him. Go, we're ready? It's on your own time. Okay? Good. Good. Not bad. One more I think we got to do to get our body heat going up. You want to do this one with me? Come on, we'll do one, you guys. I asked him actually, so come on. Well, so he's taller, we can make sure he won't stand up, right? Bend your knees. Don't. Relax. Go. Knock a few of those off. Don't tighten it. I'm not hitting you that hard. Just enough to make you uncomfortable. Right? That's all I want to do is make you uncomfortable. Okay. Alright, some of you guys, I hate you. Will you two guys split apart, please? And split these two groups up. I think, let's see. You go with him. You go with him, that's fine. You know, pretty much, I'm watching that, you know, you're here with us watching. Okay, but I think These two guys have a little more time with it. All right, now, come on up. You two, these two. Yeah. Now, let's watch how they do it. Let's just do it. And we're going to make this into advanced practice. Go. See as you're doing that? The foot's going way off the ground, right? The back foot. I'm not going to knock that. But I'm going to say, this is too easy. Back up. What I want you to do is this. You punch me. No, get back up. Okay, you punch. Now I punch. You punch. I punch. Punch. See what I'm doing? 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you do that? Try it. Try it. Low. Faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Those muscles have to move, don't they? Yeah. Except you guys are supposed to be opposite each other. You punch there and another. Okay. Now, you have the opponent's hand. You have his hand. I don't care about you guys down here necessarily getting the advanced point advanced you are before. I like to see a little bit of it though. Let's see it. Try it. You gotta touch him. Roundhouse rifles, you gotta touch your target. Get out of there. You're going in, but you know how to get out. Hold on. You're going like this in, and you're like this out. Try this. Go 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's not my fingernail. Go like this. Try it. Go like this. Just shoot. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now in and out with your punch. 1 back. Just 1 foot back. Yeah. Okay, that's the idea. You guys smooth it out. Now see how all of a sudden maybe nice simple exercise and moves it up into a very higher level practice, right? So you really got to start moving, don't you? Okay, let's go. Next one. Why don't you do this time? I'll use you in the kick, so this time. Ready? All right, punch. Back up. Back up. You get it? Ready? Back. Punch. Punch. Kick. That's it. You know what I want? Let's do it slowly. Feet backwards. Punch. Kick. Punch. Kick. Punch. Kick. Punch. Kick. Let's try it. Have we done those? I don't remember how many of these we did. Okay, we'll do some. Go on, let's see it. Back up more. Get more. There. Punch. Back up.
Yeah.
That's it. See. You got to remember, you can cover more distance. You take it too. Go. That's it. So just cover it. 1, 2. Don't kill each other, but cover your distance. Go. That's right. You got to turn into it when you punch. If you're holding your punch back, you're punching this way. You can't do it. Put your hips in. See? That's it. And you'll find out the shorter roundhouse kick looks a little nicer on this. Don't go to the extended kick. Just use a little more shorter, snappier action on the roundhouse. See, actually, you have better time with that one than the other one. You're doing one in between, but that's fine. Go. There. See, that's a quick 1, 2. You really don't have time to get an extended kick on that one. Okay, that's enough. See the difference for the Untitled stuff, right? Another one I like to do off of that. Yeah, that's about every time. I'm more informal sometimes than the other because I get yelled at for that because these students pick up bad habits from. Okay, this time back up, back up. Kick. Why you kick me? Try to keep it low belt. That one was. That means I can get back. Let's kick punch or punch kick? Punch, kick punch. Kick punch. You do that? Let's go. I'll go backwards too. Kick punch. Go. Kick punch. That's it. Kick punch. Kick punch. Kick punch. You can't take time in between. You've got to recover. See, if you don't recover, your technique's wrong. You should not be off balance. See, yeah, you got to get that extra hop in there. As we do it, watch. It's kick, punch. Now you punch. See? 1, 2, 1, 2. You see, I'm always ready to go. This idea? Get extra jumps in there, you lose it. No, you can't tell them that it goes so fast. Do it roundhouse.
Give it sloppy.
That's not bad, is it? Now we can do the same thing for side kicks. And, you get your turn. You don't want to. Okay. All right, now watch. On this one here, you guys are used to this kind of kick, right? And last time we were here, we practiced this kind, didn't we? On this draw, don't take it. You understand what I mean? Hook comes up here, and you snap it in and out. It's a shorter range technique. So what you're going to do, see, we could do this. Kick, punch, and we could do punch, kick, except the roundhouse was better now. So I'm not going to get into the tilt technique, since we did that already. So I'm just going to go. 1, 2. Then move back. Higher. Some of your kicks sometimes pull the belt. There's no excuse for you on that. So he's loose enough that there's no excuse for the kicks pull the belt. Get the idea? Go. Beginners are doing more of a thrust kick, but that's to be expected at this stage. Alright? Okay, now, let's just use Jack. Give away from this time. Now, this time, it can't go quite that fast, but it's 1. Your turn. No, you gotta move front foot first. 1, 2. You went like this. No, that's 3 movements. Say, I don't want you to go 1, 2, 3. Everybody says that's easy. They say this is hard. 1, 2. That only has 2 movements, so it's got to be easier. Go. Got it? Try. And you go to attack all of a sudden. Sneak up on it. There it is. Nice and easy. No, front foot moves first. Front foot step to the outside of the opponent's forward foot. Turn to the front foot. That's all. You want to put this around. Okay, let's hold up a second here, right? Watch. The beginners tend to do this, and sometimes I let it go, but this is a little more of an adult class. I think they can pick up the correction more fast. So, that's right. Now watch, here's what all you guys are doing. You're going 1, 2, and punching. And they really can't break that habit of having to step and punch. So all you need to do is step here and turn this way to a front stance. Don't step up to here. Watch, you're here. You can't punch, can you? So just let your hips turn enough so you punch. You get that? Okay, number 5. Or 4 times with everybody. Now you just step. Add 2. Yeah, you can go a little further than this before. You want to get it now. Alright, now there's one other thing I don't like. What you guys are doing. Some of you are doing it, some of you aren't. Most of you are not. Okay, step and punch. Can't do anything to my hand. My turn. Ready? Step back. Okay, yeah, see, as you step, it so happens that as I step, I'm this way, I get a little tighter. But there's no pull and pulling back with the hand. Especially when you're doing this one. This one, pull, and you step back. Okay, got it. Yeah, cover the screen, I was wearing a skin knife. Go. Yeah, don't be afraid to pull a hand. By the way, if they jerk your arm, they're going to jerk your back. Be prepared for it. right, ready? Now, we're going to do this one here. This one, again, I don't want it done horribly fast. All right? But you're going to be like this. One, kick, then you do it. No, back with loose first. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 2. Keep your body towards you. Got it? Because see, I want you to be able to. I'll do it. And the more you do this in close range, the harder it is to get the punch. See? The more he does the extended kick on a close range basis, it takes him more time to come here with this, right? So, if I'm on a close range, I can come punch a little quicker. So on here, it's back foot kick, then your turn. Yes. Yeah, you don't put the punch. Let's go. Start with part. You can't run that one fast. The kick doesn't be fast, it doesn't be quick in between. Yeah. Toes, to the ball of the foot, not with the instep. That's right. Learn that. Okay, I just think you guys had too much trouble with that. Alright, let's all sit down a second. Who's got a self-constitution? Self-constitution. Have somebody? And do a little bit. Everyone sit. Oh, I gotta have some volunteer. I'll try to control, but I want you to breathe properly because some of these things on how you do it like a train. Well, let's see, we're going to do this first. I'm going to move around and give you the angle of the attack, so put that in forward. You just put your hands down here, but just breathe. Try like this. See, as I kick, if you kick this way to the body, your instep really, yeah, you get a jar, right? I'm kicking him pretty good. Does that bother you too much? A little bit. Yeah, you don't have any trouble with your feet or anything, right? Yeah. If I come this way, what do you want to hit with? Shin or the foot? You want to hit with the shin? Foot. See the difference? So really, the target, as you come in here, you hit that way is the shin bone. That cut the guy in two. You got that? That will take it in two. This, probably preparing your feet pull the bone out of place. But see, when you hit the face, this can slap and shock the face. But if you can put a ball of foot on your face, check out one more. You gotta grit your teeth when your face is target. Always grit your teeth. You got that, guys? Always grit your teeth. The fear is not getting hit. The fear is the teeth cracking together. You get that? That's the main problem you gotta worry about. So, and if I kick the ball of feet, that has even a different type of cutting action, doesn't it? The one feels like catching two. This one, how's that go? Hit a little lighter. Huh? Good. That pierces in. This thing, more of a concussion, doesn't it? You can probably take a good shot that way, I would think. You might find you feel weird, but you can take it. That was a ball push-up before the action. You get the idea? So when you're kicking, I had a big argument in Wuko. World Championship, went to Britain was fighting Japan. The Japanese fighter went to lose, the British guy went back, snap. Perfect time, just picked it right out, and hit with this step here. European judges point. Japanese judges follow written purpose, and I think it cannot be a full point. Instep of the foot to that the muscle area of the body, cannot do the damage. Attach to the ball force. Totally disagree with it. That fight's still going on, that's what's happening with it. And it's going to turn out that the referee from France is going to be disciplined on that call. So the world opinion on that, there's no question about it, that the instep is not the proper thing to target with for this part of the body. They felt that if it was in far enough to the shin, to where the toes might have extended on the other side of the body, then perhaps could have been harmed, because it was getting more this portion of the leg to fight. lower part of the shin bone. That's a very technical point. Okay? You'll find out here that if you're close to somebody, you can bring a roundhouse kick up like that and really crack them good. Okay? So kind of keep that in mind. He's alive. Okay? Now, remember what it is I wanted to do. Do a roundhouse kick. All right, give me about 30 seconds to play all that back before I go off and go on that. All right, now, come on. Let's go. There is one. Now, what I want to talk about a little bit, I don't really mean to teach free fighting. What I want to talk about is somewhat general roundhouse now. See, I don't want to go into techniques. I figure that's development stuff. What I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try to teach you some background and some further understanding of what it is you practice. And you can take it from there and progress in your classes. So a lot of times, if you want a hard class, you want to teach hard class, I can do that too. But I think we'll get better from here. Now, we did this. We went 1, 2, right? And last time we had, I believe we had low defense punch. We did this, didn't we? Remember that? We also did it this way, 1, 2, punch. I want to deal with roundhouse kick right now, I think, because we were practicing that. So, then we did also, did we do it? We just stuck with punching it. We did go this way, didn't we? Okay. And we probably didn't do this way. I don't think we did it that technically. So, when we're fighting, or you're fighting a guy, stand more toe to toe. Right. He moves on. Yeah, okay, so keep it upside forward. I want to keep consistency so you can see the pattern. And you move on. Okay? Now you stay there. I move on you. So as the guy comes after me, I pull back, and I pull to the side. So once again, real slow. 1, 2. See, watch what happens if I back up. 1. All of a sudden it's got that shield mark. Remember the shield? The shield is fixing the sword. Remember that? We talked about that last class too. The foot soldier fights like this. They clasp your shields in the air, try to get the guy to stick the guy. The officer fights a little differently. But this is how you move on somebody. So as you keep your distance, you just keep moving this way, the outside back. But when you advance in your coming, you advance on him this way. See? And if he doesn't move that way, he'll be stuck. Now you want to see real quick angle attack movement. Some of the lightweights, world champions, especially the women, they're like this and like that, no 6 o'clock. Referees, 2 guys fighters would be like this, the referees would be there, and this to the eye, the players would be here, the referees couldn't see what happened. They're really, some of these people are really psyched up for that competition. But it makes a lot of sense. So if he pushes on me, if I go straight back, I don't give anything, right? So what's he going to do? He's going to push on me. Yeah, let's push. Push. You got that? The rule in judo has always been this. He pulls, I step forward, unequally. If he pushes, I step back unequally. I just say step back, but we've added more to include. And he's on down. So we take the same idea. Why, when we study karate, do we learn, right now, we're going to learn all these great locking techniques. So the guy grabs like this, just grab me here, and you go like this, and we take the guy down. All right, David, when he wants this far, you go like this. It's a totally different movement. See, but if I learn the same pattern of steps, which will go up for damage to the guy than just one did before, whereas he punches, this case he punches, 1, 2. Okay? He grabs me here. I do the same thing, don't I? My foot patterns, my basic technique are the same. So why learn one thing one way, one thing another way, one thing another way, and why learn all your knife techniques differently? Right? Would it make sense to make it consistent? 1, 2. Same thing. Although each technique was slightly different. On the knife technique, what I do? as he does with the knife, I keep the knife at a distance from him. See? I didn't take it down. All right, get the idea? So I try to make my patterns consistent. So as I move from my self-defense to my releases to my one-step sparring to my semi-Ippon Kumite, which is where you like this, and he's allowed to punch, he just punch when you're ready. Touch, backhand, so all you ought to do. That's it. Alright, I don't know when he's going to attack, but he has a prearranged attack. Sometimes I have only one defender allowed to do it or others. So all my different practices work like the same basic thing. Okay? So, here we are, and just let it punch. You want to teach. If he tries to hit me with a club, he'll get something close. I don't care what it is. He tries to hit me with a club, right? Sit. Go ahead. Okay, club. Or you do it this way. See? That's it. It's not going to hold on to it. Another way we like to do it, that's a little different for kind of. See? I can do any number of different things, right? Oh, yeah. See? That's somebody else tonight I did that. I really remember to touch that shit. So there. Okay. I'm consistent in my movement. So why don't you try that a little bit, and let's just analyze how you're moving on somebody. Okay, remember that I'm outside his range, right? We don't have a problem, but I entered in his range. Just street right. Okay, I entered in his range. Now we react. I'm out. In, out. See? The off balance. As you enter, let's say you have a spear. When your spear is sex, okay, then you're within attacking range. And this type of punching, you can actually, the guy doesn't read your distance correctly. So that's what we're going to do. What we're going to do with the idea, take it to the that as you move in, you move this way. Okay? And as he moves in, you move back. Now mind you, if he moves that way, you move back. You can take him, or you go the other way too. You move back as I move there. Alright, now watch. This time, he moves in. Okay, ready, move in. Cover. And this way, as he moves in, you're going to step off to here, off the side. That was your front foot first. You're going to step over there. Okay, ready? That's the opening on that. Let's just try it. Just try the idea of moving back and forth with your mind. Move back to one angle and forward to the other angle. Don't cross your angles up. Okay, please. You want to see an expert at this, Tony Clark is an expert. He may shoot his mouth off about other things, but one thing he can do is this is a fighter. And this is natural. It's a natural movement. Try it. Just back up. Just back up. Just back up on the oblique. All you gotta know, you can't go straight back. You have to go back that way when he comes this way. Yeah. See, that's what we want to do. We want to train when the guy advances, you to pull back that way. So, what we want to do is train him as he attacks to go this way. You go that way. Oh. Got it? Ready? So you have to back up a little more, aren't you? So the idea is to get up out of range. So I'm trying to teach you how to move and him how to move. Normally you got to move straight and move that way, you have an advantage. Don't circle all over the place. Just keep it simple. Don't kick or anything. Just move in on the guy, get into it, how you move. Alright, now, you got that idea? So all the techniques, yeah.
We always go into the back when you're
you can do different things right now, then, yes. Right now, that's 3 hours. Okay, come here. Right now, all we're looking at is, as I move forward, I move this way. Okay? Or I want you to move back. You're going to move that way. This way. That's all I'm looking for. See, because actually, watch. If I move straight into him, okay, he moves back that way. I'm off balance, right? If I move straight into him, you move this way. See it? Okay? So all I want you to realize is how the distance, so as the guy's moving, it's actually, if he's moving straight on you, you move this way. See? You move like this. It's going off balance. Okay? But if you move on somebody, I don't want you moving straight in. Okay, I move straight in, you punch me. Oh, you just stand there and just punch them. Rather equal match, isn't it? So what happens? If you hit you first, you hit him first, you both hit each other at the same time. That's what? 2 out of 3 times you're dead, right? That's what the swordsman had to deal with. Either kill each other, I kill you, or he kills me. Either then I get killed twice. So, as we move here now, punch. No, you don't want you to follow me now. Please do what I want. What you're going to do is, what most people do, just come straight in. See it? He's got nothing. For him to hit me, stay where you're at. What do you got to do? Turn, right foot. So, real nice and easy, it works like this. Hey! I forgot this. That doesn't the feet get off the ground very well, does it? So we'll control that. 1, 2, 3. Real nice and easy, isn't it? Can you do that? Just bump the foot. I didn't take you down. You don't have to go down. Okay. If I don't take you down, I really want you to drop it. 1, 2, 3. All I want is just to bump it. Please be careful when you can. Good toes to be cut. Try it. Very easy foot squeeze. Hit and then, yeah, just bump. But as you bump, you can't let your hip go like this. Your hip goes this way. See that? That's the motion that takes the guy down. As you hit, your hips drop. See, I go like this. When my hips drop, my foot goes flush. Go like this, I go like that. Go like that. Just go like this. Don't drop the hip. Don't drop the hip. See, a lot of guys can't foot sweep because they don't complete the action. Now you're going to see a lot of different attempts at that. I'm not going to worry. All right. You can clean that up. Oh, you are. Come on. I don't want you trying to pass that. You guys, your feet stick to the mat on this stuff. All right? And you can push the guy's foot. Sure, your foot.
But you punch and I'll defend.
1, 2. If you're not really set up, okay, sometime we'll spend more time teaching how to foot sweep. I'm going to show you how to get in one. But I think if we do teach a foot sweep, we're going to do it out there on a different sport. Okay, come on up, Larry. Just go. All right, now, see if you can do this. Ready? So 1, 2. Okay, everybody's done that so far, right? Now watch the knee up. If I move here, now you stand. 1, 2. Now see my left hand? Get around so you see my left hand. This way. This way. Over here. This side. Behind me. Now you're going to switch this way. This is my left hand. Okay. You guys are going to see over there. As I move from here. 1, 2. Now he's going to block my left hand. There's no way that's going to get blocked. I'm on the inside of him here. 1, 2. Now watch my reverse punch. See that? And my hip. And you can go guard now. It's coming up under. 2, 3. So very nice technique. You go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you're going to do is you're just going to do this. 1, 2, 3. Can you do that? 1, 2, 3. Then later on, once you can get that idea, you go 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3. And in the middle of all this, it's like this. Then we go 1, 2, 3. I like how I'm going to go from 1, 2, 3. And you see how I've taken a complicated technique, put the thing together. And over time, as you get comfortable, you go. That's it. I haven't done anything complicated. Let's try that. That's real nice body movement, whether you free fight or not, I don't care. The body movement, the karate technique is there. You're attacking your target with your weapon, your mind, and your heart, all in the same direction with every one of these. Okay, how much time do we have after 9 o'clock? Okay, 9 o'clock, I'll switch to the Kata. Okay. Are we going to be able to get the 3, 4, 5? Oh, yeah, we're supposed to spend all time in this one. Good enough. Okay. We'll get the pattern. Most of the guys know anyways, don't they?
One through, no, last
They don't know four.
you showed us 1 and 2.
All right, we'll go fast. Let's wrap this up. I just want to teach some of this movement. No, gotta move the front foot first. Not bad. You're going to learn your distance, and you'll have to learn how to adjust that. Another foot front. 1, 2.
Keep the hand in.
Yeah, but just see your hips are all wrong. No, get this way. Always left to right. Yeah. No. You just stand like this. He just does it.
Coming this way.
Oh, I'm attacking you? Just stand there. All right, here's my dummy, right?
You just do this way. That's all.
Step on the outside of the foot.
Hard for me to see.
Step on the outside. It's very important right now is start to move on the outside of the foot. If he's like this, you should be there.
When you're coming
If you
in,
look straight in, you find it on.
still here.
You move your eyes to the right side.
Hold it back.
Exactly, yeah, that's step in motion 4.
Yeah. It's stepping out and swinging the leg at the same time. Remember? Every hand was here. Remember we did this? We came out and did that. Right. That's what he's doing. So from here, he's just making it and turn the hip back. Now hold on. Slight same parts of it.
If you want to do it,
Oh, I think it's about too long to do that.
You're just coming from. So how is this?
Step on the outside, stepping on the outside this way.
And all this is doing is just getting down. Just a block. And then as this foot touches, you grab punches from it. Just rounding up and
What I'm trying to do is give you a little bit of body movement and body motion, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just taking different ways of moving against the front foot. 2. That's just a little different action. He says, well, what if the guy brings Mr. Around like this time? You do that. Well, I can't go that way, can I? It's common sense. So you square up and you go that technique. 1, you had your techniques on this side. But if you interfere with the guy's practice by throwing something that isn't what, then the guy can't practice to study that technique. So what I'm trying to show you is 1, as you move, crack my hips into him, right? And then from this point here, driving right through. Both of those, my mind, my hips, or however, whatever you want to call it, blam, boom. Each time is right on that target. This Ippon technique is sparring, but you don't care about sparring, do you? Because this is correct fighting technique, period. And that's what you're studying. How many guys do you do a lot of free fighting? You don't have to, do you? But there's sometimes you should do it, right? You should have to practice at it. And if you learn your free fighting techniques, and all your free fighting techniques, you guys don't free fight, you do this, you'll raise fists with these guys in the fall all the time because you probably always fought straight in, right? So did I. So I go out there and teach these little kids to do this stuff. Sometimes I'm fighting a 13-year-old kid, and I put next thing I know he's over there, and I go, oh shit, how's he doing? The techniques work. You get the idea? So, I want to do something else now. And this one I'm sure everybody's going to get comfortable with, and we're going to do it for one simple reason. Because we're going to make you comfortable. Got it? See, karate sometimes is always nice and comfortable. Alright? You know what you're doing, you know your stance, how you're supposed to practice, you don't want things interfering with that. I can understand that. But, you see, the karate has to teach a lot of different lessons. And one of the lessons of karate teaches is how to deal with real life. And that's how our purpose was. So guys who don't free fight a lot, they miss one aspect of the training, and that is getting hit a little bit. And learning how to stabilize the body against the blow. The body does have to learn that. It will learn that. All you do is hit a few times. It starts to adjust. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can get down like this, just give me your shoulder. When I hit, what I want you to do is turn your shoulder this way. And I'm going to round this with you right here. So I'm going to go, we're going to get a lower arm. I'll get my right leg on this side. So 1. Now your turn. Yeah, you don't bury the guy, you just give him a little bump. Make sure you're not going to skim him in the jaw. No, see, I want you right in my shoulder. He's coming up over top of me. I want, yeah, right on my shoulder. That's right. Got it? And some of you guys, he kicks. Go and do it. Can you do it? Kick. Find out if you can do it, it doesn't hurt as bad. Just try it. Just back and forth a little bit. Why don't you girls go together on this? Let the guys get around. All right? Try it. One guy around. Make sure you hit the shoulder. You're not allowed to hit the back. Make a muscle. Start real nice and easy. Don't go very easy.
I don't want it. You're not coming into it at all.
A little.
Turn in. That's what he was doing to you. He said you can come up into it. You just stand there shaking it. Tighten up.
You're actually just rolling a kick off of the shoulder. Taking something out.
Yeah. Don't take it in on the shin. Then it's very more. Don't put too much on the shin, but yeah, just come up into it. How's your foot?
Fine.
Yeah, my elbow. Yeah. Get tighter. Oh, yes. So, yeah. You might have get him down. Switch the breeze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody live?
No.
All right. Now this time, he's going to punch. Just stand like this. Punch. 1. Punch. Punch. Wait. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Got it? Punch again. He's just going to punch 1, punch 2, and I'm just going to bump him in the solar plexus, bump him here, and bump him here. Notice that I'm not striking, right? I'm bump, bump, bump. Okay, let's give these guys a show. Okay, ready? Punch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now your turn. Walk, no, inside my arm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, first one slow. Okay, try it. Okay, just bump. You have to bump hard. Yeah. Sort of like here, here. 1, 2, 3. Got it?
This way. And then you can here. Rip.
Sort of like now don't go smashing each other right now on this. You guys do this a while. You guys who want to go bananas with it, you can. Not today. Work yourself into it. Okay, that was not too bad. See, but as part of you do it, you get to know each other. You can stiffen up and whack each other a little bit, right? But I leave it up to you guys. He actually just he's just combat training. You know, it's called the opposite. And it's body strength, whatever. I forget what word code means. I'll give you strength. Okay, for him. And there's one more, and this one I know you'll love. You got him in below the sword. I'm going to get you in the muscle wall. I want you to be in the muscle wall, below the sword. So first one comes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Got it? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now for the, we should remind us, okay? Ready? 5. 1, 2, take it hard. 1, 2, 1. Got it? Good job. Walk it. Turn the stomach. No, she gets the block, yes. Oh, you punch. Okay. Block it. Two. Both of them. One. This serves two purposes. A lot of guys, if you never fight, someone feels like you get a body. If you never fight, you get a body.
Now you punch.
Okay. Guys are real conservative hitters tonight, I see. Okay, come on, gather around. Actually, we use that at university for two reasons. One, we can't free fight, right? So at university, guys are not allowed to free fight students. But yeah, we do feel that learning how to stabilize the body is part of karate technique. And we can't, again, like I said, we can't always make karate comfortable. So there's a lot of other ones that you do. We're doing this one now. I think you guys did 3 stars. Remember that one? 1, 2, 3, load the pen. 1, load the pen, load the pen. You guys ever done this? 1, 2, 3. Did I ever show you that? I think so. Some of you have seen it. Well, you might have done this one already. Load a pen, hide a pen. Load a pen. So just go load a pen, hide a pen. This is the load a pen. So you can turn so you hit the muscles. Don't have to keep going. Okay? So you can do that. You can go guards later. Fighters can do that, non-fighters can do that. Why would a non-fighter do that? Because they want to develop some understanding of what it's like to be hit, some understanding of hitting. See, hitting the body, you don't free fight, you don't get that feeling, and you may not want to, and you don't have to. You should consider some of the karate exercises that teach that. I don't say do them all the time. I don't say it to bananas. Where is it? He was for combat. No, I just did. Do you get the idea? But those are some exercises. You'll find those in practice in a lot of the major gyms that go again, especially in the Oregon teaching practice. So you should have some understanding of what they're all about. I'm going to go through the Ippon katas too. I got to start in 3 minutes, but I wanted to show you one other thing that people are doing across the country with their forms. Okay, do the Ippon one. Okay, come on, just do the first one. Go this way, that way, and that way. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay, now watch. What they do is this. Start like this. You're over here. Stand up. You're going to start your kata. Okay, you bow. Okay, you go like this. Good. You stay there and you follow. I'm going to reach out. What I'm going to do is grab your dog and your left hand and go. Then you know what you're doing. You're going to 1, 2. You can move though. When I grab you, now go. 1, 2. And you step and punch. Okay? And I come this way. You follow me around. And you start your perfect way to move. And you come around. You can start turning like this. I'm going to grab you like this. I grab like this. You're going to knock my hand like this. 1. I'm going to punch. You're going to pull back and back this. Or whatever. Take that and you step ahead. Got it? Then we go this way. Stay there. Got it? I want you guys to start it over. No, you won't do that. Okay, but you get the idea. So what they're doing is they're doing the bunkai and the kata. But they only highlight the kata. Alright, so here, he grabs. You gotta be a little bit on the angle in the back. 1, 2. So you're on this side. But see, he would go this way, and I would follow him around. And just 1, punch. Sorry, you just get up. 2, 3. And you go over here. Okay. 1, 2, 2. And that's what? Now he moves in on him. It's an elbow strike, isn't it? That's going to do the damage. If he punches with his other hand, okay, this hand here, see, I've got this technique going. That's a different action. Or I've got, again, my elbow straight. So actually, if we were to highlight the kata, what we would do is this. Okay, back. He's over there. We bow, we start. I would go 1, 2. And I would come to here. This is the highlight of the kata over here. He comes around and he comes in. 1 and 2. 2, 3. Okay, and over there. 1, 2, Most people know what's meant here. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Now, he comes over here, over this side, and grab my shoulder with your right hand. 1, 2. See it? On the other side. Over there. He grabs. Highlight moves. On feet on 2, 1, 2, 3 to this side, then you wouldn't necessarily have your attacker on that side. Again, you're picking the major points of the kata, major interpretation. So they do it in practice that way now. That's another way of reinforcing the kata movement. It's one thing to do the kata movement. Another thing to actually know what the movement's for. The third thing to be able to practice movements that way. Because if you don't know how to attack the kata, do you know the kata? You really don't. See, and if you can't fit your attacks into the movements, you really don't understand how the guy's attacking. So it does get the other aspect of the kata practice. And this right now is a big thing in the United States Karate Association gyms. They decided to move that across the country because they feel that the practice of that has gone down a little bit. People are doing it. And they want to encourage the back end the study of those aspects of the form. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So that's somebody asked me at one time. I said, well, all you do is, this guy's going from gym to gym. He says, what should I do? I said, well, if I were you, if you're in his gym, do it that way. If you're in this gym, do it that way. Yeah, but I can't keep track of all the different ways. I said, well, why don't you find a home? You get the idea? So you have to look at it that way. Now, I do that interpretation slightly different. Because I have him reach out here and grab. Or it can be a punch, but because it's slow, grab with that. 1. And you come in with that punch. And I bring it back, but I block inside of the corner and hit. Now the Shotokan interpretation is what? Grab. 1. Okay, they come down. But if that's the case, then 1, right? Okay, then he's got to come in and hit me, right? You can't hit me, you can't. So what are you going to do if you come in? You just punch me with that hand. 1. So come in and hit me again. They come this way. 1. And what are you going to have to do? Yeah, so let's try it. Let's see what happens. 1.
I got another thing to put on there, too. We can stick in.
All I did was shift his distance, attack me. As my body faded, I brought his technique to the fading of my body right to here. See what I did? I analyzed it in a little different way. And I produced a situation that would then fit my practice of point. So I point my foot back, going 1, and then I hit him on the head. And 2. So make a difference what you do the form? Not necessarily, but it's important when you start this kind of form. I would say, right up. How's that for not giving you an answer to anything? But that's the way karate is sometimes taught, especially. You know, we pose those problems all the time for our advanced students. And when you're studying Zen philosophy, they have a comb. That's how they teach it. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Who can answer that? So, everybody got ideas?
You can't clap with one hand.
That's a bad thing to say, you see. You're good mood tonight? One hand clapping, isn't it? Is that the answer to the phone? That's what I would do if you answered that way. Now, if I ask you what's the sound of one hand clapping, and you come up and hit me across the face, right? So he hits me one time, and immediately after he hits me, I go 1, 2. See? He asked me a stupid question, sir. He tried to answer a question. He gave me a stupid answer, so I hit him. So the next time around, he's even more stupid. He uses my answer, so I hit him twice. Why is that? That's how they teach it. See? The sound of one hand clapping, I get an answer. In some sense, if he asked me, I slapped across the face and leave because it was a song that was somebody would even, ask something so ridiculous. I'm not going to stay around talking to a jerk. That's the answer. But you have to demonstrate that. I mean, if I have to do a natural demonstration, there has to be action to it. you know, what they're saying is which came first, the chicken or the egg. What are they asking? They're asking what is the reality? Whether it came first, the chicken or the egg is asking cause and effect, right? Cause and effect question. So that's, so we pose those problems. So what I gave you there, in some sense, was the same thing. I said, okay, what do you do? And had you try to answer it by your own definitions, and you couldn't. You see? And then had you figured it out, or I kept nailing it, and finding embarrassing at times, someone along the line you either get mad and leave, or you get enlightened, and they'll figure out the solution, right? So that's yeah, it's a different way to teach. It's another way we teach, you know, in our culture. Okay. We're going to run through the Katas again. I'll do them the way I practice them, and probably 95% of the people in the gym do the Pion Katas at least somewhat the same, and for mistakes that kind of makes. Okay, maybe he'll do something a little different, he was more natural for him, or whatever, that slide until he gets a little further along in practice. The guy comes in, how come you think I was doing a little bit differently? We say, well, one guy knows the kind, the other guys can try to figure out what to do. Okay, so we don't always say, okay, correct every movement. We try to develop the overall movement of the kata and then be more specific. So much better to try to teach the specifics and forget the overall motion. We find to teach overall body motion, the technique comes out a little bit better because you get the major hip movement and that going. Okay, let's just run real quickly through Pion 1. And then we'll do Pion 2 and then go on to 3 and 4 and 5. Ready? And if you don't know it, do the ones you know and then drop out. So Pion 1, ready? Deep! Deep! Cut! Sheep! Go! And up. Left! Seek! That's a shout. Two! Eat! Deep! Cut! Sheep! Go! Seek! Two. Okay, one more time. Remember, where's the punch go? Lower. Don't always punch too low. Okay. Each. Each. Raise the height. Raise that up. You're right. You should. You'll find that maybe that's where your solar plexus is, but still, you're better off to punch in the kata slightly here. Okay? Stop! Sheep! That used to do all the time, and once I answered hit me over the head, then you changed it. So I used to always drop the punch down there because that's where my solar plexus was. Wait! Now it's 2, 3, each. What is that? Deep. Stop! Sheep! Go! Sheep! Face high punch. Those 3 punches are to the chin. Each. Sit up. Knee. Stop. Sheep. Go. You got to push it up somehow. I don't know how you got there. Okay. Alright, got a question for you. 1. Is this part of the load of pen, or is this part of this technique? Part of the next one. 1, 2, 3. That's the technique. So a lot of guys go 1, 2, and then this becomes independent action, and it isn't. Okay. Get on to it. Each. Knee. 2, 3. Okay, pull. Kick. 2, 3. Deep. Deep. Side. Sheep. Go. Kick. Punch. Block. Kick. Punch. 4. Now let's move. 1. Reach out to the side. 2. Part of this thing. 1. 2. Okay. Sit down a second. I like to make a few comments on that side. A little more exacting, I think, in your practice if you move this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Now watch. Kick. my foot comes back. Now it stays here. See how that happens? One time. 1, 2, 3. See my hands here? 1. Like this. Okay, here. 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5. Got that? This is 1. Kick. Punch. 2. My shoulders twist. Some people do this. We tend to keep the same stance. Okay. 2, 3, 4. We tend to use this stance. Front stance is okay. You'll find I'll tend to be here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Shut it. And as I come back this way. So I'm here. 1, 2, and 4. I squish my eyes with basketball. I keep my face over here, come up, and then look forward. But keep my shin there, front up and front. Alright? So this here, though, is here. And they really don't break it until they turn it here. And then they break the hands front. Okay? At one time, they changed all the front stances, all the back stances. Well, I think it was all the back stances they changed to this stance. So a lot of people do a back stance here. It's less movement. Then they shifted to these stances. And we tend to keep this stance more than anything else. And some of our students will see to this, some will see to that, some will see to that. And we don't really make that much of a distinction. Depends what we're practicing at that particular time. Okay? Somebody else? At one time, this was used because it allowed this action here to develop. Okay, and they use this, they call it a fixed stance, and they had to take place in front stance. Okay? They invented that stance around 1940. Then they discarded it after a while. The associate kata still retained it, and some of the old Ippon katas retain that particular stance. You see some of the old books. So we've retained it to some degree. Because when you go this way, you don't really quite end up where it's at, and you really don't think technique should be looked at as interpreted in front stance. So again, that's our particular decision, how we practice. You really only find that distinction in the practice of the higher rank. Okay, I imagine some guys doing up to 30 degree backwards over in the white and stance under the foot. Okay, sometimes called the nude stance, if you know what I mean. Okay, this is Ippon 3. Ready? 1. No, it's going to go back. You guys can follow along. I'm going to kind of do this. Now, up. You don't go up this way. Because if somebody plays in your arm, you fall over, right? 1, 2, 3. Now from here, sit right down in your stance. You don't step out of it and fall forward, you sit. Up. Okay? Now, again, don't keep your hands too close to your body. You're up. Then, 1. This way, 1. Right? Open. As you move forward, so really what it does is it looks like this. 1. See? 1, 2. Don't make this up. Okay? 2. Then, different people do this different ways, but 1, and when that foot hits, turn. 2, step, 3. Some people use buns this way, some people use pseudo, but that's the most common way. Back up. So when you do this now, though, 2, 3, almost you pass right into that when you do it quickly. And this stance here is longer, a little deeper than your normal front stance. That's your period at the end of a sentence, your punctuation point. Got it? Let's try it. Goes beat. Yoi, Japanese. Yoi, beat. Beat. Stop. Sheep. Look, bring your hands back. 1, 2, 3. Do the kivaraj. For the beginning students, you would stop them here. For the advanced students, they would go right through there to the punch. And then up. Okay? See how you might even rhythm the kata different for the judges. start. I might even rhythm the kata differently too for the advanced students than I would for the beginners. And that sometimes that produces change. But it's not necessarily a change, it's the method to try to elicit a particular reaction or movement to the body. Hopefully that will advance the person's practice. Now from here, a lot of guys go, "Argh." The really more classical movement is to go this way, like this. Bring your foot out, like a cat's paw. You do that? You're not allowed to pivot this foot. So it's 1, then as you step forward, your hips turn. 2. Some people go down. We just twist here. 2. Now as you twist back this way, there's the back. It comes off of that action. So watch it again. This is the important point. As you're here, it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See my hips come with the elbow. Ready? Let's try it. 1, 2, good. The elbow has to come through. Twist. Don't be afraid to twist the waist. It's a waist flexibility drill, exercise. 2. Now, back. So when you twist here, right? Twist and back twist. Yeah. 3. Okay. Then after this was 1, 2, and then reach. Grab. Pull your feet together. Hit. Step. 1, 2. Okay. Throw. Shove. When I learned that originally, we went 1, 2, 3, and we step clean through here, and we went 1, 2, which is way high. It's just the way the guy taught. I don't know why. It's the only guy I ever seen do that. But there is a shift of the feet. Mr. Harrison tends to do it this way. As he comes up, he reaches here. 1, more or less what you'll see him do. For the most part, though, remember, he sometimes will express the kata a little differently than we do, and that's his privilege. When we studied for 25 years or so, I guess we can have the same privileges, right? I know some of the people that he's known and training. 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually step through a little shorter stance. Bring my foot out and come this way. 1, 2, 3. And I adjust my step there to end up where I start from. So a lot of times what happens is you take these too long. Okay? And so here's your front stance. Here's your kibidas. If you make too long kibidas, you can't get back to where you started. You can adjust this kata. So I adjusted in that movement. Okay? Let's try it again from the beginning. Middle of the pen. 1. Middle of the pen. Back stance. 2. 1, 2. 3. The other side. Same thing. 1, 2. Okay, step out. 1. Keep it as you can. Don't worry. We're going to do 2 more after this. 2. 3. You can start. Okay. Hand up. You can start from here, I don't care. Or whatever your particular starting point was. 1. Turn. 2. You wait the elbows. Just hold on as best you can. Don't worry too much. Straight. 1 to the left, 2 to the right. Now, pull your right foot up. Hands come here. Block punch. With the effect, see, you don't go this way. You got that? You're here. 1. 1, 2. This is coming this way. This is striking this way. 1. Then 2. Hold. Now, you can thrust, kick, or side kick. Do whichever you feel comfortable with. Kick. Leave your hand out. You back just over the kick. You leave your hand out. Step. Elbow smash. Pull. Kick. Elbow smash. Left hand down, right hand up. 1, 2. Now you're going to front kick right under your right hand. Front kick. Left hand goes out, right hand comes under. 2. Okay? Turn to this angle. Back stance. Some people do a front stance, we do a back stance. Front kick. Punch. Punch. The other side. Pull. Front kick. Straight punch, reverse punch. Okay, so you're here. 1, 2, 3. From here, pull, lift the hand up. Hey! Turn, do the 1, step forward, up to lift it. Back. All right, how are you familiar with that one? Hello. All right. A lot of guys do this. They go 1, 2. They kick. Some come this way. Some come this way. You see a few different ways of doing that. I really don't worry too much about how the guy naturally does it. I tend to let that be natural. Okay? We tend, on this move, from a back stance, crack the wrist. Some people don't. Okay? But when we punch, first punch comes from there, second one from there. Some people pull the hand back. I don't think you should pull your hand back. Alright? On this thing here, 1, we break. Some people don't put a breaking action in. This is thrust. We say thumb to the eye. That means your hands are like this, not way out here. You pull in, knee smash. 1, 2, 3. I end it this way. That's the old habit. It's an old habit. The way we did it 10 years ago, I never really changed it because it's just how I learned it. Yes.
In this movement, I have seen it like middle punches.
No, we punch both
middle
of
punch?
them. We punch both the same way.
Okay.
You could high punch, middle punch, you want for your own
And
practice.
it's not,
But you'll find
not
most-
draw back?
No.
It's just kick, punch,
Right,
punch?
yeah. You'll find most people do it middle punch, both of the same trick. But somebody gets an idea that I'm going to teach my guys to punch middle and punch high. So, okay, so that's what he's doing. He's having punch middle, punch high. But the classical technique is both punches the same place. That's where you find 99.9% of people do it. Okay, yes.
Always consider different time.
Pardon?
Always consider different. Then should I'm here.
Yeah.
You are key here.
Where did you train those? Where did you train them?
Wallace.
Who?
Sensing Wallace.
Wallace?
Wallace.
Boston. From where? Pardon?
From Iran.
Okay. That may be the way you learn it. There are other ways of doing this. This is very close to the Shotokan version of the Kata, which we follow. The Shotokan style. Okay? All right, let's get ready. 1. Make sure you do back stance. Your weight's back. The problem is everybody's 50-50. You're not. You're back like this. 1, 2. What's more important than where your hands start from is whether your back stance is right. See? 1. Tells you where about the wrong thing. 2. 4. Kick. 2. 4. Kick. 2. 1, 2. Kick. Turn. Front kick. Right hand, left hand. Turn. Back hand. Front kick. Left hand. Right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thrust. 1, 2. Okay? Now, another thing I would like to mention is, at this point here, if I pull my knee this way, my kick will be a thrust kick. You got that? If I bring my foot this way, my kick will be a snap kick. And you'll find some people even do it this way. What kind of kick is this? Everybody tell me? What is it? Side kick kicks to the side. That's how some people talk. Side kick kicks the side, front kick kicks the front, back kick kicks the back. But that's the old Okinawan, they call this a side kick because they kick to the side. But then it's been changed into this technique, and the Koreans, what they did was more or less evolved it, or I don't know, but they took the idea of the back kick and left the body forward, and they twisted the waist, and they trained for that. And created a little different approach to the cycle. See? Okay? So, what I care about is, if your knee's here, you're going to turn over, you're going to kick, you're going to go to shank your leg, and your solar plexus here, in. If your knee's out here, then it's going to snap in. The target, all right? Going to do it one more time?
Yes.
So who does? Familiar with it? Okay, get up front and do that. Those who know it, move up a little bit. I can't want to watch them this time. You ready? Your feet, you all right? Each. 1. Knee. 2. Side. That's it. That's all. Below the fin, punch. Same time. We call the next block. Step. Augment the middle of the fin. Hit. Pull. Left foot up to your right knee. Hands pull on your right hip. This foot pulls up. Now we permit people who can't stand very well on one leg to leave the foot down. Okay, like Carter. We permit you to stand like this before you start your kick. Okay, but the younger guys, no way. All right, you have a little trouble, you learn your balance, and you can start up. Okay, that's basically why we do that. All right? Kick, elbow strike. Now you'll find out in the Solomon Gymnasium, they hit like the prow of a boat. They're like this. Okay, that's very consistent. Most styles will hit here. All right? This is definitely a style difference in Mr. Anderson's territory. That's one you can be sure of. Okay, pull. Kick. Oh. Okay, 1, 2. Front kick. You'll find that if you turn your body slightly to the side, this way, put your foot here, put your foot straight ahead, put your foot straight ahead, that your body, now rest down, bend your front knee, that your body will naturally rest about like this. You'll probably find when you do it that this is a lot stronger technique. You see that? If your toes point straight ahead, your hips will be sideways. If you want to do this technique with your hips straight ahead, you got to turn your foot out a little to the side, don't you? Turn those toes out this way. This way. Get it? Now bend your front knee forward. See the difference? Then you'll probably find yourself this way. You get that? Originally, we've done it this way. We started shifting to this the more we got involved with Japanese systems. But again, I think you should understand which one you're doing and why, more than anything else. Okay, Turk, what? See, I don't consider that a difference in the kata. I really don't. And in this stance, if you're in a front stance or back stance, I don't consider it different. However, I would prefer a back stance because that's where 99.9% of the people do it is in the back stance. So, ready? Kick. Punch. It's straight punch, reverse punch. Yeah. Okay, the other side. Each. Pull. Same thing. This way. Left foot kick. Kick. Punch. Punch. Reverse punch. Okay, then pull. 1, 2. Back stance. 3. Now you're in a back stance. Stay in a back stance. Pull your hands back. Thrust them forward. Pseudo 1, pseudo 2. Pull. Okay? Any questions on that? As the kata develops, okay, on that, I'm not going to give a strict ruling on whether I want you to do this or this. But I want you to understand the feeling. You'll feel that. You'll feel it yourself. The problem with the biggest mistake that people make is using an incorrect exercise. So whether your hands are here or here doesn't make any difference. To me, it's not a big difference, as long as the technique is strong. What makes a difference is everybody screws up their X stance. I'd rather see correct X stance and worry about what angle they're at. So you got to understand the X stance. If my foot's straight ahead, and I come this way, my body naturally does this. See, I can strong. I have to be noticed. You're standing up like this, you're wobbling. So here, see? If I want my hips to be straight ahead, you'll find that your foot is slightly bent this way. See the difference? And interpretation of this technique will be a little different than if you're this way, than if you're this way. All right. The way I originally learned it in 99 and practice it is this way. 1, 2, okay, 3. Straight on. And when I do the form and demonstrate, that's the way I do it. Okay, every now and then, for the sake of it, I will practice this way too, because a lot of the major systems do it that way. Okay, so again, whatever you guys do here is fine. All right, and I'm going to let you figure out how you want to do that, because the basic kata, let's do 3 on 5. I have a little more time to do that one and give you a good idea of what it's for. So from here, ready? Little pen. Now, without switching to a back stance, when you're ready to punch. Pull. Build fair. Punch. Pull. Okay, forward, one. That's a falling. Not everybody does this switch. Another thing that is definitively Mr. Anderson students do. They go like this. You got that? There's a falling forward as you're pushing behind. But you fall into a back stance. Alright? That's definitely, okay, then from here, the hands pull, back. 1, 2. You got that? Twist on the wrist and pull. 3. Then right from here is 4, 5. Now this, so it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is called a punch. Believe it or not, that's called a punch. 4, 5. Back up. You'll find that 3 people tend to do the kata exactly identical. It's Mr. Anderson, myself, and my wife. We're the oldest, really, kata practicing people. Bob Saul senior to me in the gym, but he really never spent the time on a kata. He was more in free fighting. Okay, but you'll find the 3 of us do the kata probably most identical of anybody in the gym. David Ames and Mike Dunphy are now coming along to where we're at. I'm talking about guys, you know, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th degree black belts. Okay, before really the kata is consistent and what we consider good, really good kata. If you learn kata at your level, your idea at your level is to learn the kata to your rank to get to the next rank, right? Learn it good enough and make the requirements to get to the next rank and learn more. But see, later on, you spend a lot of time refining technique. And you can fall back to your kata practice and use it to refine your technique. Okay, ready from the beginning. Each. Punch. Pull. Knee. Punch. Pull. Okay, now, bend at the ankles, and as you fall, that's nice, okay. Step forward, X squat. 1. Walk right, hands open. Pull. Now, the left hand thrust forward, the right hand pulls back. Now watch, this is important. The important part of this technique is that you do this. You come around like this, 1. Don't pivot the hips till you stand for the ground. Don't go like this, don't go. 1, and then up. That's wrong. This is 1, 2, but it's done like this. Got that? That's one action. Try it. Okay. Now, go to your left, reach. Oh, don't move that hand. That's important. And your hips end straight forward. Crescent kick. 2. Now what? 3. Most styles don't do that. That's very, again, something that's in your dance. This hand is probably comes down. So jump. And out. Reach. 1. In. 2. Reach. Thrust. 2. Sit on 5. Yes.
At the end, you grab, and then you're coming back and stand up.
No, actually, here we go. 1, 2. Okay. And again, the elbow try to go 1, 2. And you have to hold the stance. A lot of guys hit here, fall right into this. No, it's down, then in. Show your body control. Yellow belt, by the way, this time you learn purple belt goes wrong belt. So don't worry too much if you can't remember all these. Let's start at the beginning. Let's go through it again. Each. Little bend punch. Pull, water flow posture. Follow water flow block. To the other side now. 2. Pull. 1. 2. 2, 3. Try not to go 1, 2. You don't have to go 1, 2. 1, pull your solar plexus. 1, pull your solar plexus. 2. Pull. Mr. Harrison pulls more here. I pull to the side, but he always did it this way. Okay, someday I should spend time figuring out why. 3, 4. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump. X block. Yeah, hold it. Stay in that X block. Roundhouse moved too fast. I think you need one of you had your balance in that stance. Am I right? Yes. Okay. Hey! No, don't pop from there. You're here. Just step out and like this. Yes. Cross stance. Then step across behind, like this. Hand back here. You gotta cross your foot, left foot behind your right foot. Like that. 1, 2. Up. 3, 4. Now, I can probably show you 100 different ways of doing that last movement. And everybody seems to have their own pet theory as to how this in-out should be done. Okay? Want to do it one more time? I think we have time for one more. All right, ready? Feet. 1, 2. Up. Water flow. 3, 4. I want you to slow this down. You're getting lost now. Up. 1. X block. 2. I call it up. Okay, then X block. 3. 1, 2. Turn. Crescent kick. Low defense. Low. That's a low defense, not high. 2. Pressing block. This is done slowly with an exhale. Now, just like your foot's an arrow, hit the target. Elbow. 1. Block, jab. As you bounce from here, the fist goes. That kind of action. That's right. Jump. Hold your position. Okay, now don't block down here. Block out here. Because really, the attacker isn't going to be behind your knees. Okay. Can't quite get there. Okay. Then up. 1. Reach. Put your foot over the other side. Then in. You get in. Yeah. In. Okay, wait. You were like this. What you do is you step way over here. You step too far and you threw yourself up. Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, up, 4, 5, up. Okay. Now let's sit down for more seconds. Now I can see here that if nobody ever said anything again, you guys all knew the kata, exactly what you did it today, and you felt that was exactly perfect, and you all got back together a year ago. Here's what you would argue about. Was this hand this way or this way? It was up here. See? Somebody's going to say it's up here. One of you guys is going to say it's here. The other guy's going to say it's here. Right? Which is right? Do you know how you did it? Do you remember how you did it? You were up there, I know. You were sure? Okay, I didn't memorize you. How was your hands? You're positive. Sure. Larry? How was yours? Do you remember? One of you two, and I don't remember which one was this way. One of yours was this way. I remember you being this way, and I remember him being high up here. That's what gave me the idea of talking about this. See how easy it is all of a sudden to come out with 3 different ways of doing the same movement? Okay? I always learned it. I do it this way, my wife doesn't. See, I do it. I pull here. Yeah, I think my wife doesn't. Now, is that really necessary to change the kata? Come think of it. She does it this way too. Because our main interpretation on that is you're over here. Alright, you're right here. I block and I hit this guy. He comes in and attacks. You attack me. See it? So you're here. You're over here. Now you stay right there. You stay right here. Okay, you reach out with that hand. And you're over there. So you grab. I go 1, 2. You come in. 1, 2. See the action? Okay. He comes in here. Grabs, right? 1, 2. He comes here. 1, 2. See? Same thing. But that's the type of movement it is. Here's another interpretation of the same thing. He grabs. Put that hand. Camera show. two of the same interpretation. Okay? So let's line up, and we gotta get out of here before we get locked in or something. Don't let little things in the forms at this level of practice right now overly concern you. Get your stances correct. Get your movements, your big motions. We can take out elbows going out, pulling here and here. But if I have you think of your hands all the time, are you going to remember what direction to go? Probably not. Why should I get you involved in little things that make you little people? Or narrow your mind down? Let's let you look at the overall view. And then we can once you understand that, then you can start to see the principles behind the actions. And once you understand how your hips rise, then maybe you understand how your wrist has to go. See? The wrist, all the time. Up, down, bottom, up. This is strong. Twisting. The same push-pull that you do with your hips, you do with your wrist. And that comes out. Kata. See? One. One. Palm to palm. Palm up, palm down. See? See my palms? 1, 2. See how they always rotate 180 degrees at the beginning of that kata? 1. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Here, 1, 2. All the time. So we can then study at the advanced level. Like in your guys' level, when you know the kata, then we can look at those things. And then we can worry about this, that, and the other thing. So oftentimes the guy that isn't around all the time, okay, maybe he knows follow his own, but doesn't always see the things from start to finish. He gets the beginning and the end, this is the middle, or just gets the middle and doesn't see the beginning or end. Okay? And you shouldn't let things like that get you. I see so many arguments amongst lower ranks out of the kata, the Bible is just yarn practice. Okay? Steve? Right. Thank you. I hope I helped a little bit tonight.
Anybody who needs those sheets for the seminar on June the 1st, we have some. And also, before you leave, we're going to take up a collection. Those who would like